إلا الله. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear brothers and sisters, a couple announcements highlighting for this week. And again, a reminder that you can get the full announcement from our email, ICC weekly email, or you can download the app to get the latest and greatest, inshallah. First of all, on your way out today, we have voters registration. There are volunteers out there set up. If you are qualified to vote, we encourage everyone to register. It only takes 2 to 3 minutes to stop by voter registration. There's going to be midterm elections coming up, so we encourage everybody to exercise their voting rights, inshallah. Second, this weekend, today, after Maghrib, we have the Mecca program. If you haven't heard it, it's a combination of all the scholars within the Collin County, including our sheikhs here at ICC, is going to be joining a different masjid every month. This week is going to be on McKinney, and the program is going to be up there. So please join them this evening after Maghrib at McKinney Masjid, inshallah. Also tonight, we have ICC Youth Qiyam with our Imam Azhar. It's going to be after 9:45 p.m., so inviting all the youth to join the informative Qiyam with our Imam Azhar, inshallah. Also a reminder that ICC Taqwa has 2 classes coming up. It's called Fiqh of Worship. They have 2 tracks. One is Hanafi track, and the other one is Shafi track. So please register if you're interested. It will start tomorrow and every Saturday between 2:45 to 5:45. So please register and increase our knowledge, inshallah. Also, Islamic Relief is having an important program coming up a month from now. It's on October 14th. This is for the cause of the Pakistanis. So please join them. It's going to be a Renaissance Stylist hotel, so please mark your calendar. We're announcing a little earlier, so you can block your schedule on October 14th from 6 p.m. at the Renaissance Palace. And lastly, please make dua for our office manager, Brother MTS Jinnah. He had surgery yesterday, and he's recovering from that. So please, we need everybody in our community's dua for him for his speedy recovery, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله الذي أرسل إلى كافة الناس بشيرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا، فبشر وأنذر، ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له جل وعلا رب الأرباب ومسبب الأسباب، ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا مولانا محمدا عبد الله ورسوله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة، فجزاه الله عنا وعن كل المسلمين خيرا. اللهم فصل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. أما بعد، رب يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. رب زدني علما والحقني بالصالحين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم. My dear respected elders, brothers and sisters in Islam, books. There are plenty of books in our world. There are those that are categorized as fiction and those which are categorized as non-fiction. For many people resort to books to seek knowledge and gain an understanding, while for many others, books are a source of pleasure or a pastime. When we go the route of non-fiction books, we find that they have a common theme. They usually begin with once upon a time and they always have the end. And aside from them being from the category of adventure, mystery, suspense, or fairy tale, they all lay out one in the same story. They present to the reader a state. They present characters. They present a challenge that those characters endured throughout that state. And then they usually end with the storyline that they emerged better than they were in the beginning. May they be single books or series. The point is they lay out a complete story and they take the reader from point A to point B. Understanding this and using this analogy, my dear brothers and sisters, all of us in our life are contributing towards writing a story. Each volume is considered a year. Each chapter within that is a month. And each page is day and night. As a Muslim world earlier this week said bye and salam to 1439, and we ushered in 1440, we completed one of the many volumes that are now shelved in the history of time. It is imperative for anyone who is a writer or an author to understand their work, their contribution, and its values in the eyes of those who receive it. So for that, there are two things that are done. When a new book comes out in the market, there are reviews. And based on the reviews, the author and their work gets credibility or they lose credibility. And at the same time, The author then can make resolutions if they want to continue down this path of writing or they want to change in what they do. So since we all, from the masses, are writing history, it is imperative that we take a moment, as this new year just began, to take review and account of our work that we just did. Since the key distinction in this book of history is that we are a unit, it is imperative that we take a review as a unit. My dear friends, it doesn't take an expert to say that the last year that just passed wasn't a good year. That the turbulent tide that hit this ummah from all angles, those tides continue to rise. There's a rise in hate. There's a rise in warfare. There's a rise in prejudice and inhumane practices dominating our world today. And there is a heightened state of confusion. So if I were to review this book, it wouldn't make it anywhere close to a New York bestseller. Rather, this would be something that you'd be lucky if you find in a Dollar Tree. The point is, do we as the authors care about how the world tomorrow will read our story? How our grandchildren and their children will see what we did and what our contribution was to the collective story. So I think the reviews are in. It wasn't a good year. And I don't think we're going to have any credibility for the next year unless we make some solid, stable resolutions. And those resolutions entails a great shift and change from our actions, our demeanors, and of course our contribution in inking this onto paper. But before I address resolutions, it's imperative that we take a moment right now and understand what is this 1440 all about. We are writing 1440 volumes. We're on the 1440th volume now. What are we counting? Many people say this is the Muslim calendar. What the people who follow the moon follow. No. Something significant happened 1400 years ago. And if we understand its significance today, we'll be able to make tomorrow a better place. And for all of us to know, we call it 1440 years Hijri, i.e. from the time of migration. The question that I always pose at this point is, why are we counting from migration? Why didn't Islam begin counting from the birth of Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Because that was a miraculous moment on this earth. Many things happened that were not, which was not the norm of the time. But we're not counting from his birth. We're not counting from the time he went with Halima Sa'adiyya radiallahu anha or returned back. We're not counting from the demise of his mother, and we're not counting from the time that he started business and trade. We're not counting from the time that he met with Khadija radiallahu anha or married him, nor are we counting from 5 years shy of his nubuwah when he united the tribe of Mecca to insert the black stone into the Kaaba. And we are certainly not counting from the time that Jibreel alayhi salam came to him and squeezed him and said, "Iqra," upon which he responded, "Ma ana biqari," I can't read. We are not counting from the time that he won his first battle or his second. We are not counting from the time that he conquered Mecca in such a manner that nothing has happened in that manner. And nor are we counting from the time that our beloved messenger Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam returned back to his Lord. We are counting from the time that he and the followers of Islam fled from their home to make a new home. What is so significant about this? When we look into the historical text, the seerah, we find it was hardships upon hardships. We find that Rasulullah ﷺ, there was a bounty on his head that whoever kills him will get X, Y, and Z. People were pursuing him to find him so that they could kill him. But brothers and sisters, this was a historic moment, not just for the Muslim Ummah. This was a historic moment, not just for Arabia. This was a historic moment for the world. And the world could attest to it. Because after 13 years of tests and persecution and oppression, challenges and boycotts, plots against him, holding tight to the ropes that he wouldn't fall down, our Habib Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam endured with patience and perseverance. There are so many accounts that we can reflect upon how Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam held his ground. وَلَقَدْ أَتَتْ عَلَيَّ مِنْ بَيْنِ يَوْمٍ وَلَيْلَةٍ مَا لِي وَلِبِلَالٍ مَا يَأْكُلُهُ ذُو كَبَدٍ إِلَّا مَا يُوَارِي بِهِ إِبْطُ بِلَالٍ. Subhanallah. One account. Days and nights would pass, and Bilal and I, radiallahu anh, had nothing to eat except what Bilal could hide under his armpit and bring to me. And that would be our food. We drop food on the table and it goes into the garbage. Here, the Rahmatul lil Alameen, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is eating food from which is coming concealed in the armpit of Bilal radiallahu anh. These were the struggles. These were the hardships. And as they were being boxed into the corner and they were being told, this is your fate, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, wait, we control our fate. We control our destiny. Because وَالْقَدْرِ خَيْرِهِ وَشَرِّهِ مِنَ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. Everything good and bad comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one can dictate that for us. No one could write that for us. It is our ignorance that we say today, what can we do? It's the problems of the time. What can we do? This is the plague in society. What can we do? We're in a country we can't practice our Islam. Na'udhu billahi min dhalik. You can practice Islam here more than any other country, I guarantee you. They never gave in and they never gave up. He selected with the Sahaba to move forward, away from the ropes, not only defending himself, but winning the match. That is why, from the pleas in Aqaba, in the 11th year, when 6 people met with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the 12th year, when 20 people met, and in the 13th year, when 75 people came, and they said, "O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, come to us, bring your people to us, live amongst us, and govern our affairs. Help us." So the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam left Mecca and he fled to Medina. He was not running from a land to another land. He was running from no opportunity to an opportunity. He was running from talking about Islam to physically displaying what Islam could give to the world. For according to Aisha radiallahu anha, Yathrib of that time was a disgusting, dirty, plague-infested land. It wasn't that he was leaving Dallas or Hawaii. He was going to a much worse place. But he did this because it was the moment. It was the moment. It was the time when his vision and his message could play out in reality. So upon leaving Quba, where he built the first masjid in Islam, and the children are singing Tala al-Badru alayna, he enters the city of Medina. The beauty is that when he entered into Medina and he accepted the responsibility of the people of Yathrib at that time, who were amongst the Jews and the pagans, the Muhajirin and the Ansar, the immigrants and those who were the helpers, he gave an inaugurational speech. We all know leaders around the world, when they take their position, they give a speech. And that speech serves as the pedestal or the foundation upon which they will live their legacy. The narration of this speech comes from Abdullah bin Salam radiallahu anh, who at one time was a predominantly known, well-known, well-respected Jewish rabbi, who states that when this man was coming to us, regarding who we heard many great things, many big things, but he was a skeptic. He said, I also emerged with the people to see what is this person all about. I want to see with my own eyes. He says there were so many people gathered that he had to stand on his tippy toes to look over. He said, I saw the face of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I swear by Allah, his face was not that of a liar. And then he gave his speech. When the city and its people hovered around him, silent and attentive to hear what he was going to say, he said the following words. His speech was not 40 minutes. His speech was not an hour and 20 minutes. His speech was less than 30 seconds. But brothers and sisters, these 30 seconds changed the course of history. And that is why we count our calendar from that moment. He said, Ayyuhan nas, O people. He calls on every human being. He did not say, O Muslims, O Kuffar, O Yahud, O Mushrikeen, O Muhajirin, O Ansar. He said, O people. For Islam teaches us, my brothers and sisters, that the entire humanity, regardless of their race, regardless of their religion, regardless of their social status, is the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah created them. Our duty is to respect and honor them. Ayyuhan nas. What I'm bringing to you today isn't exclusive for me and my people. What I'm bringing to you is for all of us. Afshu salam. The first thing he advised the people, Afshu salam. Spread peace. What does this mean? I.e., become instruments of peace and goodness in the land that you reside in. If he was talking about tahiyya, assalamu alaikum, then salam isn't for the non-Muslim. Afshu salam, spread peace. What type of peace was spread? In a nutshell, at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the 10 years of Medina, 9 schools were opened up. Health clinics were made. Over 50 wells were dug because water was scarce. Sanitation of the city. As I said previously, Aisha radiallahu anha stated it was a filthy city, but they cleaned it up to the extent that within the atmosphere of Medina, there's only goodness till this day. Till this day. There was prospect for agriculture and growth. So the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever takes a piece of land and cultivates and grows on it, that land will be theirs. Go and do something. And then the safety and security. Medina was known as the safest city on the earth. Afshu salam. Spread peace. I.e., take up an initiative individually, all of you, that you have something to contribute towards. وَأَطْعِمُوا الطَّعَامِ. Feed food to those who are hungry. If the Muslims in this country wanted to make a difference, we could have done it effectively by just reaching out and feeding our neighbors. Because we're living in a time where over 36 million people are living under the poverty level. There are people who don't know where their next meal is going to come from, and they are not in a third world country. They are in our neighborhoods. That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that you are not a complete believer if you go to sleep with a full stomach and your neighbor is hungry. How many of us, reflect on yourself right now, how many of us know the names of our neighbors? How many of us reach out to them, regardless who they are, and ask them if they're okay, if we can be of any service? Jibreel alayhi salam came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and continued to emphasize on the importance and the rights of a neighbor until Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I thought he would make him a heir. That if I was to die, my neighbor would inherit from me. That's how much right he has. أيها الناس أفشوا السلام وأطعموا الطعام وصلوا الأرحام. Join the ties of blood. Today, even within our own communities, we are struggling to unify one household under one roof. Forget the different races and cultures. But in reality, this wasn't addressed just to family ties of blood. Because we all are the children of Adam alayhi salam, and Adam alayhi salam was from dirt. So everyone in this world is one family. The silatul rahim in the ukhuwa that Rasulullah established through this message, that the muhajirin and ansar came together. Those who left everything behind and those who had something shared what they had. The ansar said, take from my wealth, take from my home, take it, it's yours. This was the love that was created in society. Interfaith relationships were established, where the Jews and the pagans and the Muslims knew that they could practice their faith without being oppressed or without being threatened. And that is how the treaty and the charter of Medina has been written. وَصَلُّوا بِاللَّيْلِ وَالنَّاسُ نِيَامٌ. As a Muslim, the cultural perception is he would have talked about Allah first, and salah, and zakah, and masjid. No. He said, serve during the day and turn to Allah in the night. وَصَلُّوا بِاللَّيْلِ وَالنَّاسُ نِيَامٌ. This does not mean, it is not implying that you miss your Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha and go home at night and make it up. No. These prayers are essential to keep you on track in your service to the greater creation. But at nighttime, you reconnect with Allah and charge your soul and remind yourself of the reason that you're doing this, and go back out the next morning and continue your work. Ya ayyuhal muzammil and Ya ayyuhal muddathir is the prescription that Allah gave to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Look it up and see it. So in order for this message to be effective, and this is the end of his speech. Once again, أيها الناس أفشوا السلام وأطعموا الطعام وصلوا الأرحام وصلوا بالليل والناس نيام تدخلوا الجنة بالسلام والسلام عليكم. This was his speech. O people, spread peace, feed the hungry, join the ties of blood, pray at night when people are sleeping, and you'll enter into paradise with peace. This was the moment that he changed the hearts and the perception and the mindset to become proactive, to become caring and considerate, and to take responsibility in the world that they resided. That is why it took 7+ months to build Masjid Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, because he was making the groundwork amongst the people, preparing them that once this masjid is open, service will spread from here to the four corners. And so it did. And that is why in Aam al-Wufud, the year of delegations, people came from all over different parts of the world to see what they were hearing and understand how this became a reality. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to acknowledge this significant moment in our history and allow us to follow the advice and the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and make change in our society and the world that we reside in. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد. So brothers and sisters in Islam, words are good. Sometimes they sound great. But the question comes down to, how do I apply this into my life? Because in reality, I can't just go to Plano or Frisco IC and start making schools. And I can't just open up clinics wherever I want to. There's a system and a process. We all acknowledge this. And those who have the power to make decisions have to be in a position of power that they could make those decisions for the betterment of humanity. We acknowledge this. I acknowledge this. We're on the same page. But we have to start. We are not separate from the society that we reside in. We are an integral part of that society. We talk about the ills of society. I have to ask myself, what have I contributed to making this society better? Many of us have children in schools. How many of us are part of the parent-teacher meetings? Many of us have libraries and social services. How many of us are volunteering hours in those places? We complain about different people in our government system. The question is, how many of us are exercising our rights and registering to vote and voting and then grooming a generation that can rise and run and win and serve and make the world a better place? How many of us are doing that? We speculate. Islam is not speculation. Islam is action. Today we will register. Tomorrow we will vote. And in the next few years we're going to have children that will grow up to understand the importance of service, and they're going to run. And inshallah they will be voted into office, and then they will serve in the capacity that Rasulullah told humanity to do and serve. It will not be about power. It will not be about money. It will not be about name or fame. It will be about service. It will be the likes of Umar radiallahu anh and Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, who didn't have money in their pocket, but they were out there making sure everyone was okay. So what is our resolution today, brothers and sisters? We talked about the review. The past review has been tarnished, but the future lies in your hands. This is a collective responsibility. This is an individual responsibility. No one is exempted from it. The resolution that we will make today, inshallah, is that we are going to stop procrastinating and we are going to start planning for more than myself in life. The world is greater than myself. Number two, we are going to stop pointing blame on others and we're going to start taking responsibility. Because Islam as a religion isn't about you being different from society, rather it's what you can give to society. Our deen is amazing. It is perfect. It is contemporary. It is a solution. And it's imperative, brothers and sisters, that we change our perception on the world and the people of the world. I end with this one story. Once a sahabiya came to her husband and said, "You know, your family are users." He's like, "Well, how do you say that?" She said, "Because when you have money and you have wealth and you have items, they come to you, they ask from you, and you give to them. But when you have nothing, they don't even know you. So they're using you." This is a way of reading an incident. This is how she read it. Look how he responded. He said, "No, my wife, I think you got it wrong. Rather, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful. That when He gives me, He brings those around me that I can share with. And when Allah doesn't give me, He doesn't burden me with the responsibility by bringing people that I don't have nothing to share with." So perception, brothers and sisters, have to change. Our efforts have to take it up a few notches. And we have to understand that it is in doing this and more, building our spirituality and our connection with Allah and serving the creation of Allah, that we will تَدْخُلُوا الْجَنَّةَ بِسَلَامٍ, enter into the eternal abode with peace. We send salutations and blessings upon Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who not only told us or instructed us, rather he guided us with his actions, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima Allahumma fasalli wa sallim wa barik ala sayyidina Muhammad abdika wa rasulika an-nabiy al-ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa baraka wa sallama tasliman kathiran kathira Rabbana zalamna anfusana wa illam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna min al-khasirin رب اغفر وارحم وتجاوز عما تعلم إنك أنت العز الأكرم اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا وكره إلينا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان واجعلنا من الراشدين اللهم اشف مرضانا وعاف مبتلانا وارحم موتانا يا رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. Please ensure that our lines are straight, stand shoulder to shoulder, fill in all the gaps in front of us and to the side of us, and once we complete the line in front of us, we could form a second line.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. اللهم أنت السلام منك السلام تبارك في هذا الجلال والإكرام. أستغفر الله ربي من كل ذنب. أستغفر الله ربي. استغفر الله الذي
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Reminder to the youth, high school students, college students, and parents who have children that age. This Sunday is our Career Expo. We are filling the gym with Muslim young professionals from all sorts of various professions. So please come out to hear about their experiences and ask them any questions that you may have regarding any professions that you may be interested in pursuing. This event is open to everyone, Muslims and non-Muslims, so tell your friends, tell your kids, tell your friends' kids. Inshallah, we can pack this gym this Sunday from Dhuhr to Azhar this Sunday, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.